Hello there, this is Battleborn again. In today's video I'm going to talk about the narcissists and conversations from hell. And I bet anyone out there that has been involved with a narcissist, either through family, friendship, relationship, can relate to this statement. And in this video I'm going to try to explain why this is, why it always ends up happening that a conversation with a narcissist turns into an argument, or an argument turns into an endless cycle, and it doesn't really matter how many valid points you have. It doesn't matter how solid and well-founded your arguments are, because of this very thing. And that thing I want to talk about in this video is something you have to realize that narcissists do, and that there is no way out of this. So it's basically like I said, conversations from hell. There is no way out of this situation with a narcissist. And the thing I'm going to talk about is the difference between non-narcissistic people and narcissists in the way they go about having a conversation or an argument. So within a person that is concerned about truth, reason, and logic, what's most important to that person is that the outcome of what they talk about is going to be right. Not only that, people also want to feel heard. So you also feel like the things that you want to talk about is going to be heard, and at least you feel that you need some kind of feeling of understanding from the person you're talking to. For a narcissist, they do not care about truth, they do not care about reason, and they do not care about logic. So you see, here is the foundation, here is the problem of everything. Like I said, a normal healthy person, they care about truth, logic, and reason. The narcissists do not. So they operate in a very different realm when it gets to having a conversation or an argument. These three things to a narcissist are useless, because all they think about is winning and confusing and abusing their victim. That is the three things the narcissist is thinking about. So with this in mind, you have to be very careful when you have an argument with a narcissist, because they do not want the same thing as you. And this goes back to what I've talked about before. When people project their own sanity onto people, they project their own behavior onto people. People think that people they meet want the same things. They don't. Very often when you meet toxic people or narcissistic people, these people have a very different, they want something very different from these kind of things. So to a narcissist, to be on kind of like on the same page, or to be on the same level in a relationship, that you feel like things are given, and things are that you work and you pull in the same direction, that is not important for a narcissist. The only thing the narcissist is thinking about is themselves, and that they get supply. And as we all know, getting supply is also very, very useful to them through arguments. So another thing I want to talk about in this video, what makes these conversations from hell, is that the narcissist has already a preset end game for any conversation or argument that they have been able to prepare for. And oftentimes also arguments they have not been able to prepare for. And this is something you should think about, that when you go into an argument, you listen to the other person, and you speak and you listen, and it goes back and forth. With the narcissist, it's not working like this. They already know where they want to be at the end of this conversation. They know how it's going to look like, they know how you're going to feel, and they know how they're going to feel. So sometimes you might have extremely good arguments. You might have caught the narcissist in doing something wrong. You might even have proof that they have done something wrong. Or when you think about it, you shouldn't really need these kind of things. It's kind of extreme. If you feel like you need proofs and shit like that when you talk to your partner, you are in a wrong relationship. What you should be feeling with a person that cares for you is that this person is going to listen to you, and that they're going to validate what you have to say. Even though they don't agree, they're going to be able to understand what you have to say, because you come from a place of logic and reason. And if the other person also do that, they will be able to understand what you have to say. But narcissists, they dismiss what you got to say, because like I said, they already have a preset end for this conversation or argument that goes on. They already know where they want to go. So your argument is not going to be listened to, because they're going to go the same way either way. So they have already dug the tunnel, and they already know exactly which way they want to go with this. So you might have the best arguments in the world. You might have prepared, and you think that, oh, finally I'm gonna expose this person. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, because this person you're dealing with is not operating from the same place you are. You are operating from logic and reason, all these things like I said before. If that person just does not, if the narcissist, like narcissists, they do not operate from within that, especially if you're alone with this person. Narcissists might be able to fool people around them sometimes if they are in the presence of other people, because they know that they have to pretend to be sane, but they don't really want to. But then again, if you're alone with this person, and that is usually how these things go on, that you have these arguments alone with the narcissist. They're not going to listen because they don't want to listen. They're not going to understand because they don't want to understand. So what are you going to do then? You see, this is conversations from hell, and you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. The narcissist does not possess a mind that is able to change. It doesn't care about how many arguments you got. It doesn't care about how right you are. It doesn't care about any of that. So I see a lot of people, they make videos on how to beat a narcissist in an argument, how to win a conversation with a narcissist, how to finally, make the narcissist understand what you want. It's not going to happen because they don't have it's not within them to do so. So I strongly advise people to understand, or try to understand, that this is how it works. That you can never do these things that you can do with a normal human being, like you gather information and finally you're gonna be heard or understood. It's silly. It is really silly. It's really silly to think that if this person, because you know that the things you have been saying all along to the narcissist have been not necessarily all the time right, but at least it's your emotions, it's your feelings, and sometimes it's blatant facts that you have been presenting to this person, and they're not going to be listening to you. So what makes you think that they're going to listen now? So like I said, I see a lot of people, they are so concerned about making the narcissist understand them. But what good would that do to you? Would you go back into the relationship if they all of a sudden understood you? I hope you will answer no to that question. And a lot of narcissists will pretend to understand you if they feel like they have to. If they feel like this is the end of the road and they don't have new supply, well, then they're going to pretend to understand you. But they don't understand you because they are not operating, they do not have logic and reason. That is two things that the narcissists do not have. So you're going to find yourself explaining logic and reason to these people. That is the truth. You're going to sit down and eventually you're going to find yourself explaining, what is logical, how they should think, how they should behave. And that, quite frankly, is not your job. You're not supposed to be in a relationship to change another person. Okay, so this goes both ways, A lot of times the narcissists want to change you, but a lot of times the person that the narcissist is in a relationship ends up feeling that they need to change the narcissist. So it becomes this endless battle of who's going to be able to change who. That is not how a relationship should work. There are 7 billion people, maybe a little bit more on this planet right now. There is more people out there that you can seek to have a healthy relationship with. Because if you find yourself in a position like this, it's useless. It's completely useless. And the narcissists cannot understand what you have to say because they frankly don't care about what you have to say. So yeah, just things to think about really when it gets to dealing with narcissists. And for your own health and mental state, avoid all these articles and stuff like that tells you how to beat a narcissist, how to defeat a narcissist. You can't. You cannot do that. And I'm saying that as long as you're a person that operates from a rational and logical standpoint, you cannot beat any of these people because they don't. I've heard narcissists just say the most outrageous things. That would be considered almost insane if somebody would listen to them. They could be, some of these people could be put into mental state hospitals, but they are able to balance this insanity in front of other people, and they give you the full look into hell when you're alone with them. But this is just to confuse you, and this demonic nature has nothing to do with humans. And humans, when we see demonic nature, we first of all, we are seeing something we're not supposed to see. And secondly, they operate in such a different way than human beings do. So avoid, and no contact. Thank you for listening in and have a good day.